Welcome students. Welcome to part 2 series Sectors of Economy chapter 2 class 10. In part 1 we read about different sectors of economy, primary sector, secondary sector and the tertiary sector. We also read about how the GDP is counted and also the role of tertiary sector. So let's begin our part 2 with topic. We discussed about the role of tertiary sector in an Indian economy. There were different reasons why the tertiary sector is improving. But students, still in our country, agriculture and related sector is being given more importance than the other sectors. People are more involved in the agriculture sector than the other sectors. Now, we'll talk about it. Where are most of the people employed and why? As I said, in India, almost 63% of the people are engaged in the agricultural sector because we do not have jobs in the secondary and the tertiary sector. Our industrial sector has not developed yet, so as a result of it, people have to work in the agriculture. In the agriculture sector, there is a very common type of unemployment is underemployment, or we say it as a disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment. In this type of unemployment, when people are ready to work, but they are not working to their real potential. That is known as a disguised unemployment. So suppose I want to teach in a school, but I'm not getting a job, so I have to do some other work. So that is known as a disguised unemployment. They are working, but they are not getting the output what they are supposed to get. It is hidden in contrast to the open unemployment. People are employed but still not getting the benefit. There is no change in the production. This is known as disguised unemployment, and this is mainly found in the agriculture sector in the rural area and casual workers in the urban sector. So these are the people who are working, but their potential is not being met and they are not getting what they are supposed to get in return. For solving the problem of disguised unemployment, unemployment, government has started Manrega. Earlier it was Narega, now it is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005. This scheme was created by central government at that time and has been implemented in 200 districts of India. Under this Manrega scheme, those who want to get the job will be guaranteed 100 days of work in a year. This is the first condition of Manrega. They'll get an employment of 100 days. And second thing is, if the government fails to do so, the government will give them unemployment allowances after 15 days of application. Means the government has to provide job within the 15 days, otherwise they'll pay the unemployment allowances. Third feature of this is one-third of the seats have been reserved for the women as well as scheduled caste and scheduled tribe people. So this is also known as right to work. This is people have been doing in the rural areas. So Manrega schemes have been working. Central government and the state government have been contributing equally to give the wages to its people working under this scheme. Now, we are talking about unorganized and unorganized sector. Organized sector under the rules of government and unorganized sector which is not under the rules of the government. In an organized sector, employments terms of employments are fixed, they have assured work, there have been rules and regulations have been followed, some procedures are there where the employer has to follow those procedures, and the worker employee has some sort of safety while working. Whereas uh, paid leaves, they have a fixed paid leaves. Payment during holidays. Like say suppose it's a vacation time, so they'll get a salary for that also. Provident fund, which has been given equal contribution of the employee and the employer. Gratuity is amount of money which we get at the time of retirement. Medical benefits, worker with pension after retirement. All these are benefits which are being shared by the employer to its employee in an organized sector. Whereas in an unorganized sector, there is no provision of overtime, paid leaves, holidays, sickness. Most important is employment is not secure. Any day they can say you will not come from tomorrow. That is an example of unorganized sector. Example has been given here. Farmers work on their own, hire laborers, and when they require some people, they can ask them to leave. Same if we talk about the urban area, in shops we see that the boys are helpers, have been there in the shops when they don't need, when the business hour is not there, so they ask the helpers not to come from tomorrow. Only in the busy season they employ two, three helpers, but after the busy season is over, they do not employ all the. Now, we are talking about, as we discussed about the problems in the unorganized sector, how the government can protect workers in an unorganized sector. First is setting up of small scale industries in the semi-rural area. Government has to give loans to the people so that they can start their own business in the rural area, so that they can start up their small scale industry, just such as jute weaving. All this can be done so that they do not remain unemployed in any season. Second is implementing many programs such as Manrega 2005. We talk about Manrega, so government has to implement these type of programs so that more employment can be given. Creating job opportunities in the service sector such as schools, tourism, hospitals, this can be done. Most important, allow credit at a lower rate. Government should provide loans to the people at a low rate of interest. So when people have money in hand, they can start up their business. This can be done. These are the few things which can be done by the government to protect the workers in an unorganized sector. After this, now we'll talk about the government, how the things are being owned by the government or the private sector. That is, there are two sectors, the ownership public sector and the private sector. From the it's clear that public sector, in which all the things are being arranged and organized by the government. They provide public sector. The purpose of the public sector is to help the people, to provide services to the people. So it is under it does not have to earn a profit. All the services which have been provided by the public sector are either free of cost or at low cost. This is to provide public welfare. So the provide facilities to the worker, fixed employment, fixed working hours, welfare, public sector, Indian Railway, hospitals, parks, library, buses. These are the example of the public. Second is the private sector, the companies or the industries which are being organized by few people or a group of people, that is known as private sector. For example, Reliance, IDBI Bank. These are the bank or these are the services which are being run by few people. The purpose of the private sector is to earn more and more profit. So they're not thinking about the common masses, they're thinking about their own profit. They does not have a fixed employment and fixed working hours to the workers. Examples are Birla Company, Reliance Company. These all are examples of the private sector. In the public sector, the people, those who are working, they have a job security, they have benefits. We have talked about the benefits, and they have a relaxed atmosphere. But at the same time, in the private sector, more opportunities for promotion. Their jobs tend to pay higher. So they have those who have a capability, they have a chances of getting better salary, the prestige, more prestigious, private sector suppose more efficient, less bureaucracy. So less bureaucracy means we'll have more opportunities to grow in the private sector. This is all we have from chapter 2, sectors of economy. I hope you understood all the points, all the topics very clearly. Thank you. Have a nice day.